Alright, awesome. Merry meet everyone and welcome back to My Pagan Life. As always, I've tried my very best to make the lighting decent for this video, so I hope it looks at least okay. Today we'll be covering a topic that is essential to understanding and practicing witchcraft. Welcome to a basic guide on crystal and herb correspondences. So before we get into it, what are correspondences and why do we witches love to talk about it? It's actually quite simple. Simply put, magical correspondences are like magical associations or magical connotations, whatever you want to call it. If you've ever heard someone say that, for instance, lavender is good for sleep spells, whereas rose quartz is good for love magic, you have encountered a magical correspondence. Everything, and I basically mean everything, has a correspondence in terms of magic, and while these may vary depending on traditions and such, a lot of correspondences are fairly universal and have been used for a long time. Associating certain qualities with certain things can help strengthen your intention as well as help you focus, and who knows, maybe these things or associations actually bring more magical energy into your spell. And just to make it clear, you technically speaking don't have to do anything in witchcraft, but as you've probably understood, we witches love correspondences because it does exactly that. It helps us in our magical workings. And since herbs and crystals are usually widely available to most of us, it's one of those things that makes us love it even more. Also, the connection to the earth and nature in general is very clear when we're using herbs and crystals. They literally come from nature. But now that that's out of the way, let's get over to the interesting stuff. I'll be giving you an overview of some magical herb and crystal correspondences. There will be two lists, one for herbs and one for crystals, obviously. Each list will be divided into 6 categories, and they are healing, prosperity, aka wealth, banishing, love, protection, and divination. And each of these categories have 10 mentions or items each. Basically, if I don't suck at math entirely, I'll be giving you 60 herb suggestions and 60 crystal suggestions. What? Before I go into the lists, however, I do have a tiny disclaimer that I want to offer you guys. If you're very eager to check out the lists, then check out the timestamp on the screen right now, but I highly recommend that you listen to what I have to say. First of all, multiple of the mentioned herbs and crystals in this video technically fall under multiple categories. But for the sake of simplicity, I have placed one herb under one category and one crystal under one category. You're basically not going to see the same herb or the same crystal be mentioned twice. This list was very difficult to compile as it is, so we're keeping it simple. Number 2, there are many different kinds of correspondences, including deity correspondences, planetary correspondences, elemental correspondences, all of that stuff. But none of that stuff is being added in this video because it's just way too complicated and not super suitable for a basic guide. However, if you want me to do more videos in the future that cover those kinds of things, then make sure to let me know. I've also been given a suggestion of mentioning relevant correspondences when it comes to pagan holidays or sabbats. I'd love to do more of that kind of stuff, but since I've already talked a little bit about that in the past and it would take, more time than I have for this video, I'd like to do more videos in the future really dedicated to those kinds of things. So, just give me your input and I'll consider it. And of course, number 3, this is by no means an exhaustive or completely comprehensive list of herb and crystal correspondences in magic. This is just a very basic guide to get you started and to serve as a useful reminder, hopefully. I highly, highly recommend that you do further research for yourself. And with that said, guys, over to the list. I actually want to start off with the herb/plant list for this video. And yes, in the magical and witchcraft sense, we basically use the word herb to describe any type of plant. We can be talking parts of a flower, we can talk of a fruit, it doesn't have to be those traditionally recognized herbs, if you will, just to make categorizing and all this terminology just easier. Also, regarding both these lists, I apologize in advance for all of the names I'm going to butcher, which is part of the reason why I'm going to put up all the names of all plants and crystals on screen. So yeah, without further ado, let us start off with the first category, which is healing. Under this category, we have peppermint, amaranth, anemone, feverfew, chamomile, sandalwood, eucalyptus, lavender, coriander, and lily. Next up we have prosperity or wealth. Here we have cinnamon, cedarwood, dill, ginger, almond, allspice, saffron, alfalfa, honeysuckle, and nutmeg. And of course we have banishing, which is a very interesting category. Under this category I have added garlic, salt. Yes, in this context, I think salt would be more widely considered an herb than a mineral or crystal, if you will. Just bear with me on this one. So yeah, salt, pepper, chili, clove, sage, turmeric, cayenne, dragon's blood, and mandrake. And then we got the lovely category, namely love. Here we have rose, cumin, violet, meadowsweet, apple, licorice root, hibiscus, ginseng, although I'm very tempted to say ginseng, poppy, and orange. Next up we've got protection, which, like banishing, is a very interesting category. Under this category I've added rosemary, juniper, angelica, myrrh, elderberries, fennel, anise, frankincense, blueberry, and St. John's wort. John's wort. And finally, we have divination. Basically, the most magical of all types of correspondences. And so I've added thyme, marigold, patchouli, basil, jasmine, oregano, lemongrass, lilac, bay leaf, and beech. Oh yeah, we just got through 60 herbs, but we're not done because we still have our crystals, which is obviously my personal favorite. Okay, I'm gonna stop. And just as with herbs and plants, when I say crystals, I'm not exclusively referring to crystals, I'm talking about minerals in general, basically. First off, the lovely healing category, which in this case includes the following crystals: quartz, amethyst, agate, aquamarine, morganite, moldavite, charoite, apatite, amber, and celestine. Whew, we're off to a good start. I'm pretty nervous about pronouncing all of these crystal names because they can get pretty exotic, but we're gonna try our best here. And now for the prosperity category, and here we've got the following crystals: citrine, moss agate, tiger's eye, amazonite, malachite, pyrite, ruby, aventurine, sardonyx, and lodestone. And for banishing, of course, we've got black tourmaline, hematite, smoky quartz, rutilated quartz, ametrine, onyx, jet, lepidolite, chalcedony, and fluorite. Never mind, it's chalcedony. Chalcedony, that's right. And we're back to the love category. We have got, obviously, rose quartz, along with rhodonite, pearl, sapphire, tourmaline, kunzite, dioptase, danburite, red agate, and rhodochrosite. Like I said, these names are pretty exotic, at least for me. Now we've come to the protection category, and we've got some pretty awesome crystals for this one, including obsidian, labradorite, carnelian, garnet, jasper, lapis lazuli, marble, peridot, sunstone, and turquoise. And finally, last but certainly not least, is the divination crystals category. In this category, I definitely find a lot of crystals that I personally like, so let's take a look at that. Moonstone, celestite, jade, iolite, opal, sugilite, sodalite, diamond, selenite, and kyanite. But yeah, that basically concludes the list, guys. I tried very hard to come up with varied suggestions and to not mention one crystal or one herb twice. I don't think I did. I think. But anyway, I hope you found it useful and that you liked this video. If you did, make sure to let me know. As I already said, I didn't add more intricate or more diverse correspondences such as deity correspondences and planetary correspondences, and I haven't added like other types of categories like Sabbat correspondences, herbs and crystals, that kind of stuff. But that would have been way too complicated for this video. If you want me to do videos on those kinds of things where I go a little bit more in depth, then make sure to let let me know that as well. That said, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more content on this channel. I'm so happy you joined me today for this video, and until next time guys, blessed be from My Pagan Life.